Welcome to today's Sant-mat Satsang podcast. I want to begin by sharing a reading from Sant Tulsi Sahib of Hathras, India. This is a mystic poem composed for a Sufi disciple of Tulsi Sahib by the name of Sheikh Taki. It is a form of composition known as a ghazal. This is one of those few rare ghazals of Sant Tulsi Sahib. Listen, O Taki, seek not thy beloved in the world outside. Within thine own self behold the splendor of thy beloved. In the pupil of thine eye is a mole wherein is hidden the entire mystery. Peep within, and behold thou what lieth beyond this dark curtain. The secret of the 14 realms will for certain be disclosed to thee. Let thy attention not slip. See that thou art ever vigilant. Listen, thou art constantly being called from the Most High. There ever beckoneth thee the voice of thy beloved. It is not meeting with the beloved that is arduous. What is difficult, O Taki, is that it is hard to behold him. Without the grace of some realized guide, says Tulsi, the path of salvation is distant, beyond thy grasp. A ghazal of Sant Tulsi Sahib of Hathras, India. Sant Tulsi Sahib is a kind of Adi Guru or founding Guru or master of the masters, a kind of great-great-great-grandfather of modern-day Sant-mat, as I've mentioned on other past programs. This is about Simran, or repetition of names of God, the very first step of the spiritual journey. Simran is the spiritual exercise of remembering God, choosing to become centered in God by repeating a name or names of God. It is a key practice of Sant-mat, a key practice on the path of the masters and mystics. In Sant-mat, Simran, a term which means remembrance, also is known as Manas Jap, a mental repetition of sacred names. It's how one begins meditation practice each day. The repetition of a name or names of God is also done during opportune moments throughout the day and evening. According to the teachings of the Masters, Simran or Manas Jap, the mental chanting of names of God in your mind with the tongue of thought, is not intended to be a dry mantra, repetitive practice. Done correctly, and most effectively, true to the path of the Sants, Simran is performed with an attitude or spirit of love, prem, bhakti, as if one is calling out to one's beloved. As Sant Tulsi Das once said, if the person repeats the name with love, distress is dissolved and one lives in happiness. As Shri Bhagirath Baba said, the practitioner who does jap or simran, sitting in a secluded place with the right method and immense love, becomes an excellent devotee. So it is not merely repeating the name, but thinking of one's beloved while repeating the name or names, calling out to God in a spirit of love and devotion that gives one greater concentration and receptivity to a greater spiritual charge, a receptivity to more divine love, being more receptive to the Supreme Being, being named. Love is that power that makes God break his own laws in order to serve the devotee. Love is that meditation or method that makes the impossible possible. That which is harsh becomes gentle. The enemy becomes friend. The weak becomes strong. The concealed becomes revealed. Even though it is said that it takes many lifetimes to realize the divine, if a devotee performs sadhana or meditation practice with true unwavering devotion, then the divine will manifest at that moment. That's a paragraph from Swami Vyasanand. Before I delve into a lengthy discourse by Shri Bhagirath Baba, I want to focus on this particular paragraph of Shri Bhagirath Baba about spiritual dreams and satsang in the dream state. He says, just before retiring in the evening, the practitioner should sit in meditation for 2 to 4 minutes and then get ready to go to sleep. A practitioner can continue Mana's Jap or Simran, or Mana's Dhyan, keeping his or her vision focused inside with closed eyes, lying in bed. This practice protects one from terrible or unpleasant dreams, and on the other hand, the practitioner can be benefited with the appearance of sages or sants, or satsang in the dream state. The appearance of sants or sages in the dream state is an indication of spiritual progress, says Shri Bhagirath Baba. That would be great to put sleep to good use, wouldn't it? Even once in a while, to have a special encounter with a master or a more spiritual dream, something higher. And that becomes easier if one goes to sleep while doing their spiritual practice. The following reading is from a chapter titled Know the Self Through the Self by Sri Swami Bhagirath Baba, who is a living master in the Tulsi Sahib lineage, related to Baba Devi Sahib and Maharshi Mehi Paramhans. Jiva Atma, the individual self or soul, is the indivisible part of the Supreme Being, the universal soul. In the bondage state, it is called the jiva, another term for soul, an indivisible part of the Supreme Sovereign God. Only the individual soul, or Jiva Atma, is capable of recognizing itself. When the self will be realized, only then it will be merged into the Supreme Sovereign God. Then it can be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Besides knowing itself, no other method has been articulated in the holy books of the Masters and Scriptures. Now the question arises why this Jiva Atma, the individual soul, does not realize itself. What is the reason for this? For the answer, it can be said that until this Jiva Atma lives no longer dominated by the 5 organs of actions, hands, feet, mouth, anus, urethra, and the 5 organs of senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, and 4 inner organs, man or mind, buddhi or intellect, chitta, and ankar or ego. It cannot realize the self. In other words, until the Jiva Atma transcends these 14 organs, it is not able to recognize the self, and so it cannot realize the Supreme Sovereign God. The Vedas or Hindu scriptures say, O people, doing efforts to realize God by the organs like hands, feet, tongue, ears, eyes, skin, nose, or mind, intellect, etc., is child's play or deceptive, because he, the Supreme Sovereign God, cannot be realized through those. He is not perceivable through those organs or senses. Moving down from the middle of the 2 eyes, or the 3rd eye center, is going towards ignorance, and moving up from the middle of the two eyes is going towards knowledge. Our physical body is divided into two parts. One below the eye is called pinda, or the physical body connected to the physical plane, or microcosm. And the other is above the eyes, called Brahmananda, or the macrocosm. The Jiva Atma resides with all 14 organs in the middle of two eyes, the seat of the soul, the third eye center, in the awakened state. If the Jiva, or soul, had detached from all these 14 organs, it would have realized the self, and then it would have realized the Supreme Sovereign God. For it is the greatest need to reach into the Turiya state above the middle of the two eyes. The beginning of the Turiya state has been said to be the Ajna Chakra. The Guru instructs about the point between the two eyes where the vision of both unites. And the destination of this ultimately is in Kaivalya, the state of oneness, pure consciousness. To enter in this Turiya state, one needs the highest degree of concentration, because there is rising of consciousness, or surat, in concentration, and the rising of consciousness causes the breaking of bondages. For the concentration of awareness, one should take the support of an alphabetical name of God, i.e. one should do Simran or Jap, the chanting of a mantra or holy name. Then one should practice Manas Dhyan, of a physical divine form related to that alphabetical name of God. Dhyan is the process of mentally visualizing the form of one's master or any divine form with eyes closed in meditation, as instructed by the master. This practice is done because the nature of this world is that of names and forms. There are many names of God. Sant Dadu Dayal says, there are innumerable names of God. Though in truth God is beyond names. Satguru Maharshi Mehi Parmhans said, God is inexpressible and nameless. People have given God many names. This has been articulated by the saints, sages, and seers. One name among the numerous names, which the Guru instructs about, should be repeated continuously with great devotion and faith. Here there are 3 ways to do jap. One way is through the uttering of the word with audible voice that other persons also can hear. The second way is repeating a name or mantra in such manner that only we can hear it and others do not. The third way is repeating a name in such manner that neither our own ears hear nor do others hear it. It is repeated only in the mind without moving the lips, tongue, and teeth. This way is called Manas Jap, or the mental repetition of sacred names with the tongue of thought, also called Simran by the Saints and Sikhs, and Zikr by the Sufis. Swami Vyasanand has written about why we do Simran, repeat names of God mentally in sant-mat, instead of a vocal chant. He says the saints have prescribed the support of a sacred name and a sacred form in order to break away from the snares of name and form. Just as we need iron to cut iron and use poison as an antidote to alleviate the effects of poison, similarly, the practices of coming close to God by using a sacred name and form taught by the Guru at the time of initiation can liberate the student from the bonds of the net of all names and forms. The mantra given by the Master is imbued with the holy radiance of the Master. The divine form for meditation prescribed by the teacher is permeated by the teacher's conscious energy. Then the syllables become a powerful mantra, and the physical form becomes a conscious, wish-fulfilling divine form for the practitioner. It is important to know the precise technique of reciting a mantra, the purpose of reciting the mantra, and the various types of mantra recitation. Saints have described many methods of mantra recitation, but the results of all of these forms of mantra recitation vary. Practitioners obtain results of mantra recitation according to their mind's stillness and concentration. The method of recitation that produces deep concentration is better and yields superior results. Manas Japa. This involves repetition of the mantra internally and mentally. In this method, neither the tongue nor the lips move. The breath or rosary or any other means of counting is not used. The mantra recited is only through the mind. This japa or repetition is the essence of other mantra techniques. It is a form of meditation. Saints state murmuring qualitatively has 10 times more focusing power than loud japa. Breath recitation japa yields 100 times more concentration than the previous method. Manas or mental japa, on the other hand, creates 1,000 times more concentration than mantra done with breath or chanting out loud. Mental japa is on the same platform as meditation or concentrated focus. Therefore, the efficiency of mantra japa is determined by the intensity of concentration. The meaning and significance of the mantra is this: the mantra, when recited with faith, surrender, and concentration, brings solace to the mind of the practitioner. This occurs when the words are recited repeatedly. Japa means calling out and inviting God in order to obtain the darshan or vision of God. That is a passage from Swami Vyasanand's book, The Inward Journey of the Soul, about why it is in Sant-mat we prefer, for the most part, to use mental repetition, Simran, or manas jap, a mental chant of names of God, because it's more within, draws you more within, is more focused, provides more concentration than chanting names out loud or with the breath or other types of practice. Isn't it nice to have actual explanations for things? Why this works, why we do things the way we do? That's why I love the wisdom that can be found in this Tulsi Sahib lineage of Sant-mat. Maharshi Mehi, back to Shri Bhagirath Baba of the Maharshi Mehi ashram. Maharshi Mehi has instructed to do manas jap or Simran in his prose and poetry composition, The Principle of Sant-mat. Quote, "Every human being is within his or her right to transcend all the layers of nature, darkness, light, and sound, through devotion to God, by taking recourse to spiritual practices such as manas jap, the mental repetition with eyes closed of some holy word, instructed secretly by the spiritual preceptor. Manas dhyan, concentration and meditation over the form, or radiant form, with eyes closed, as instructed secretly by one's spiritual preceptor. Dristi Sadhana, the yoga of seeing inner light, and Surit Shabda Yoga, the yoga of hearing the inner sound, and to attain salvation or liberation, Jiva Mukti, through re-identifying with the Supreme Being. That's a passage from the Principles of Sant-mat, excerpted from the Padavali, or mystical hymns and verses of Maharshi Mehi Paramhans, quoted here by Shri Bhagirath Baba. Shri Bhagirath Baba. The following lines from various poems of Maharshi Mehi's Padavali reveals the noteworthiness of Manas Jap. Quote, "Do the firm constant practice of Manas Jap, or Simran, instructed by the Master, and do Manas Dhyan of the form of the Master." That's from poem 7. Do Manas Jap of the mantra given by the Master, and do Manas Dhyan of the form of Guru. Poem number 47. Do the practice of Manas Jap and Manas Dhyan of Guru only, i.e. repeat the mantra given by the Master, and do the practice of Manas Dhyan of Guru's form. Then do the practice of uniting the vision. Do the practice of Bindu Dhyan or Dristi Yoga, the yoga of light. Poem 94. Repeat the very holy mantra in the mind, and then do Manas Dhyan of the form of the Guru, the benefactor. Padavali, poem number 97 of Maharshi Mehi. Shri Bhagirath Baba on spiritual practice. The practitioner, if he sits for meditation, always must keep his or her head, neck, and spinal cord or back completely straight. The respiration process will naturally become slowed if one sits straight, and thus it is a helping factor in meditation. Sants or yogis have fixed times of meditation. These times are 1. In the pre-dawn, i.e. 3 hours before sunrise. Just interjecting, this has been called Amrit Vela by the Sikhs, and Brahma Muhurta, or Hour of God, by Hindus. Many other mystics and world religions and monasteries have an early morning meditation time as well. Back to the reading. Number 1, those times are in the pre-dawn, 3 hours before sunrise. 2, after taking a bath during the day or midday. And 3, during the evening after the sun sets. Meditation done in these 3 times is called the thrice daily meditation. A practitioner must sit for meditation at these 3 times, and also should do Manas Jap or Simran, repeating the Guru instructed mantra, or Manas Dhyan, involving the mind in visualizing the Master's form inside while doing worldly work. In other words, during the day when you have the opportunity to do Simran and focus on the Master, do that throughout the day whenever you can, in addition to sitting for meditation. Shri Bhagirath Baba. In the evening, just before going to bed, the practitioner should sit in meditation for 2 to 4 minutes and then go to sleep. A practitioner can continue Manas Jap or Manas Dhyan, or keep his or her vision straight inside with closed eyes, lying in bed. This practice protects one from terrible, unpleasant dreams, and on the other hand, the practitioner can be benefited with the appearance of sages or sants, or satsang in the dream state. The appearance or seeing of sants and sages in the dream state is an indication of spiritual upwardness or progress. A meditation practitioner who does meditation in pre-dawn very carefully should not take a heavy meal in the night. Meal should not be hard to digest. Easily digestible meals, and that also are light in amount, should be taken in the night so the practitioner can get up early at the pre-dawn time. This habit keeps the body sound and healthy. This has been from Shri Bhagirath Baba, and went over some of those same sentences I shared earlier about having spiritual sleep as much as you can, going to sleep in a manner that includes spiritual practice, which can lead to positive power, inspired dreams at times, which is considered to be a great blessing. Shri Bhagirath Baba, a practitioner should close both eyes and mouth at the time of meditation. If he or she would be speaking and seeing the outer world with open eyes, he or she could not do the practice of meditation. Just pausing to interject, I hear about walking meditation and all of these things. I suppose someone might propose meditating while bicycling or something. And, to some degree, some sort of mindfulness probably has some slight benefit. But never forego meditation, real, actual meditation with eyes closed. That's the real meditation. The journey begins at the third eye center. Only when one concentrates at the third eye center and goes within has something meaningful occurred that takes us beyond and above body consciousness. Shri Bhagirath Baba, on closing eyes, everyone sees darkness inside, no matter whether they belong to one creed, caste, country, or another, be they young, old, male, female, scholar, or illiterate. This darkness has not been created by humans or gods. This darkness has been created by the Supreme Sovereign God. There are 3 layers or coverings over the Jiva Atma, or individual soul. Those are darkness, light, and sound. Darkness is the shadow of the light. This darkness is the first layer that the Jiva, or individual soul, or all beings, in fact, encounter. One who crosses this layer of darkness through a special kind of meditation sees the inner light within oneself. This inner light is the light of the self. Sometimes it's been called Brahma Prakash, or divine light. On achieving this, the divine eye, or third eye, opens completely. While mentally gazing into the darkness that one sees with eyes closed, one should repeat the Guru-instructed mantra. This process is called Mana's Jap. While doing this, neither the lips nor the tongue are oscillated or moved. Instead, the mantra, an alphabetical name given by the master, is repeated within by the mind. This jap, or Simran, is actually a kind of meditation itself, repeating the mantra through the mind for the purpose of calling out to God, or one's ideal deity, or most beloved Satguru, near oneself. That's the goal. So the one who does the jap, or Simran, should perform jap with great love. Today on this Sant-mat Satsang podcast, for the most part, I'm sharing a spiritual discourse on meditation practice by Sri Swami Bhagirath Baba of the Maharshi Mehi ashram. He describes meditation as being based on love, and Simran practice, or Mana's Jap, the recitation of divine names, approached with an attitude or spirit of love and devotion. The Indian terms would be bhakti and prem. After all, the theological term in India for sant-mat is Nirguna Bhakti, Sant-mat, or love and devotion for the formless Lord, being taught by the saints or in the path of the masters. Love and devotion are very central to the path. Love concentrates the mind in ways that discipline or guilt or some lesser motive just simply can't reach. Love or bhakti is the way. It opens the inner portal to the divine realm. One makes faster progress because one becomes in harmony with one's soul and the Supreme Being, who after all has been described as Anurag Sagar, or the ocean of love. Back to the discourse by Shri Bhagirath Baba on meditation practice. By doing jop or Simran, the mind and heart become devotionally pure. Morale is uplifted. One gets strength in inner meditation. Jop siddhi, or divine power after getting perfection in jop, is obtained. By doing jop, so much sanctity begins to flow within the body and mind of the practitioner that the note or wave of jop or Simran penetrates whatever the practitioner touches. If the practitioner repeats the sacred names while doing worldly work, as well as practices jop or Simran, sitting in a secluded place with love and faith, he or she begins to see divine visions or hear auditions in the inner sky, hear inner sounds or auditions in the inner sky. The region within where darkness normally appears when one's eyes are closed. We may see sparks or fireflies. Similar to that, the practitioner glimpses other visions at the time of meditation. Goswami Tulsidas said, if the person repeats the name with love, distress is eliminated and one lives in happiness. The mantra has the characteristic of attraction. If the practitioner repeats the mantra and the related form of that mantra is imagined in the mind, then that which is visualized assumes a vague form. Eventually, the practitioner comes to see that real form quite clearly in the inner sky during meditation." Unquote. So here Sri Swami Bhagirath Baba is saying, really, and I've read this elsewhere in the teachings of Maharshi Mehi Paramhans, that the first two spiritual practices of sant-mat, the repetition of names, often called Simran, and visualizing the form of the Master, are preparing the initiate, developing receptivity that makes possible real hearing within and real seeing within. There is a transition from the repetition of names to hearing the great eternal name of God that repeats itself, the sound current or audible life stream. And thinking of one's spiritual master while gazing within with eyes closed is to prepare one's inner vision for the manifestation of eventual real light, or perhaps even the radiant form of that master. These meditation practices all are about transitioning from outer to inner, from lower to higher, from gross material to subtle. And of course, that transition continues when we've gone from the outer world of the gross material plane to the inner world. There's the astral level typically described, and from there the transition from illusion to reality continues, from astral to causal, from causal to mental, from mental to etheric, to the first level of Sachkhand or Satlok. The upper part of Sachkhand or Kaivalya is the ultimate reality of God. God is given many names. The Nameless One is given many names, including Anami, which means nameless, Satpurush, the true original being, Lord of the Soul, or Radhasoami, Satya Raam, the true Raam. That's a holy name in the Dadu Panth, the Dadu branch of the Sant tradition. Maharshi Mehi Parmhans describes God as soundlessness, or the soundless one, the God who is beyond light and sound, in the top part of Kaivalya or Sachkhand, ultimate reality. I highly recommend a manual of Sant-mat called The Philosophy of Liberation by Maharshi Mehi Parmhans. It's not a very huge book, it's only 60 pages, but it's very intense and detailed and technical, and that's precisely what I like about it. It is a very wonderful manual explaining very clearly in detail the teachings of Sant-mat. I can send a copy of it to you as a PDF file. There are links to it online that I could send to you if you want to read it online, or even have it read to you as an audio book. There are different formats, different options: Kindle, ebook, or PDF file, audio book, and some other ebook formats as well. Send me an email at this address and I can send you The Philosophy of Liberation by Maharshi Mehi, if you'd like it as a PDF file or read it online. My address is james@spiritualawakeningradio.com. The day that counts is the day that includes the repetition of God's names, or name. Simran is the spiritual exercise of remembering God in a world of forgetfulness, choosing to become centered in God by repeating a name or names of God. It is a key practice of the Masters. On this path of the Masters, Simran is also known as Mana's Jap, the mental repetition of sacred names, and is how one begins daily meditation practice. The repeating of a name or names of God is also done during opportune moments throughout the day and night. According to the teachings of the Masters, Simran, or Mana's Jap, the mental chanting of names in your mind with the tongue of thought, is not intended to be a dry mantra practice. Done correctly and most effectively, Simran is performed with a spirit of love or bhakti, as if one is calling out to one's beloved. As Sri Swami Bhagirath Baba once said, the practitioner who does Simran or Jap sitting in a secluded place with the right method and immense love becomes an excellent devotee. This is a verse of, or mystic poem actually, of Guru Kabir from the Kabir Granth Vali. Only the day spent in repetition of the Lord's name is reckoned fruitful. In the court of the Lord, he who is absorbed in the name, the Lord is always with him as his companion. The day spent in repetition alone counts in the Lord's court. Ceaselessly burns the lamp of Maya or illusion, and men and gods, like moths, rush blindly into its flames. Having attained the state of poise and detachment, Kabir, the Lord's servant, has swum across the ocean and has reached the haven of safety. Thanks for joining me today for this Sant-mat Satsang podcast. Again, my email address is james@spiritualawakeningradio.com if you have any questions or comments, or are seeking to find a satsang in your part of the world, seeking some scenario whereby you might be initiated into Sant-mat meditation and Surat Shabd Yoga. the meditation of the inner light and sound. If you're interested in books, that's something I specialize in, including rare books that are hard to get in the Western world. Or if you have any other questions or comments, send me an email, james@spiritualawakeningradio.com. See you next time for another edition of the Sant-mat Satsang podcast.